Welcome to my interesting. My name is Nick, and today I'm going to tell you how to enter the green card lottery. Okay, first things first. If you search for green card lottery online, you ain't going to find it. You need to search for diversity visa lottery. I'll put the link to the application page in my video description. So what is the DV lottery program? The Immigration Act of 1990 established the Diversity Visa, DV, program, where 55,000 immigrant visas would be available in an annual lottery, starting in the fiscal year of 1995. The program allows those from countries with low immigration rates to the United States to enter for a chance to apply for a US immigration visa. I'll talk more about these rates later, as they basically dictate your odds of winning. Now, despite the name, the lottery wasn't originally intended to promote cultural and racial diversity in the US. Back when Congress introduced it in 1986, the goal was to ease immigration for Irish and Italian immigrants. At the time, many Irish applicants didn't have the right job skills or a close enough relative living in the US, such as a sister rather than an aunt, in order to immigrate. Though many Italians did have close relatives in the US, there was such a huge backlog in applications that these stalled the ease with which Italians had previously been able to enter the country. Yay history! So back to applying. You can Google DV lottery, or you can just go to the Diversity Visa website. The website name is dvprogram.state.gov. On this page, you'll answer 14 very basic questions if you're applying alone. Or if you have kids, after you complete the form for yourself, you'll essentially complete it again for each child. The form is only online, and it's only available in English. But depending on the language settings of your web browser, it can translate it into pretty much any other language. So I did mention all 14 questions are relatively easy, but that's not completely true. Question 7 is actually a file upload prompt. You don't have to answer anything here, just upload a photo of yourself, but prepare this photo beforehand, as it can be very fiddly to get right. And if you wait too long to upload it during the question process, the system will time out and you'll have to complete the whole form again. Not difficult, but annoying. The style of the photo to be uploaded is similar to a passport photo. Plain background, front facing, no glasses. The hard part is the formatting. It has to be a perfect square, down to the pixel, and the size must be between 600 by 600 pixels and 1000 by 1000 pixels. And the file size can be no greater than 245 kilobytes. Once you successfully complete the form, via email you'll get a registration code that you'll use to go back to the same website the following May to see if you've won. That code, your alien registration number code, will follow you throughout your entire green card journey. And it's literally that simple. You apply in November, and then you see if you've won in May. Now let's talk about your odds of winning, and some other weird stuff I experienced during the process of getting my green card. I didn't use the website that I just showed you to enter. I entered through some other website that I had to pay $20 for. So long as you enter the lottery on the website I showed you before November 7th at 12 p.m. Eastern 2023, you should not be paying anything. I originally submitted my application for the green card in June. The website I found took your information whenever you wanted to apply and promised to enter you for 2 consecutive years when the time comes that entries were open on the official website. The process for the green card is entries open in October and November, and then you can check to see if you were randomly selected the following May. I don't even know if it was legal to enter on that website. I don't even know if it still exists. And I really don't recommend that you do use that website or a similar website if you find something similar. I was young and I just moved to Sydney after 1.5 years of the global financial crisis in 2008. And I had itchy feet. I was ready to travel again. So I thought, $20, why not? Now let's talk the odds of winning. All of the information I'm about to tell you is publicly available online. Just search for DV lottery statistics. I entered on my dodgy website in June 2010, and I won the DV lottery in May 2012. I didn't even realize I'd won until the November before, when they were emailing me. You didn't check your entry, and we're pretty sure you won. I'll tell you about that later. So back to the Department of State website. So come to Google and search for DV lottery statistics, and the first result is the Department of State website that you'll go to. Once you come here, you'll see 3 sets of information: the number of people applied, the number of visas offered, and the number of visas accepted. If you come into the first one here for 2012, you'll see that Australia had 17,163 people apply. Entrance refers to the primary entrant, and a derivative is the spouse or child. Coming back for the number of offered, you'll see that Australia was offered 900 in 2012. And then coming back to the number of people approved, if you come to Australia again, you'll see that 292 were approved. People often forget that they applied, and so their circumstances have changed, or they just don't want to do it anymore. That's why Australia was offered 900, but then only 292 accepted. What was so strange about my win was that I'd forgotten I'd entered, and I'd actually won the second of the 2 years that my $20 payment to my dodgy website. So maybe it was not so sketchy after all. I did get an email, and I'm not sure what entity that email came from, but it looked very suspicious. As far as I know, you don't get contacted if you win. The onus is on you to check. You need to go back to that website and enter your registration code. The email I got had a big American flag banner. It said congratulations splashed all over the place. It was giving very African Prince vibes, wants to send you all his money. I forwarded that email to the US Consulate in Australia and asked if this was legit, and it was. The US Consulate in Australia was actually very helpful. They informed me that I had basically a week to decide if I was going to accept and start the vetting process, as once the entry is open for the next year, your offer is no longer valid. I was a flight attendant at the time, so I had a chat with some of my colleagues to find out what they thought. Some of them had been applying for years, others had applied once or twice, and to find out that I'd won after only entering once, they were very jealous. My partner and I had just moved to a new house in Sydney with the intent of saving to buy our own home. We discussed it and we thought, okay, well, why not? I don't have to continue with the DV lottery visa if I don't want it after you've initially entered. Once the green card is issued, you have 6 months to enter the country, and then once you're there, you must live at least 6 months of every year in the USA. If you don't, you will have to fill out an application form to re-enter, and you will get the 3rd degree from immigration as you come back in. Once you've accepted, you'll have to book a medical. A medical is to check that you don't have any communicable diseases or tuberculosis. Luckily, I was the flight attendant, so I could fly anywhere in the country where it was quickest to get my medical done. And to clarify, the 6 months to enter and then 6 months to move is a rule that I made up. After reviewing all the green card visa requirements, I determined that I could probably stretch it out to a year before I actually moved there. Again, I don't recommend you do this. I was lucky. The first time you enter the US with your massive stack of papers is such a pain in the butt. It took me about 2 hours to be seen and then interviewed and vetted and enter into the country. We almost missed our connecting flight. Basically, you arrive to immigration, you go through, and then they're like, please wait over here. You wait, and once everyone else is gone, then you'll be seen. You don't get your green card right then and there. You'll still have that code that you're given from your very first application. This is now known as your alien registration number. You'll get your green card in the mail, I would say, about a month or 2 after you first enter. So make sure you have a US address that you can send it to. I sent mine to a My US virtual postal address. You can also have it sent to a friend or a family member here. Moving from Sydney to New York was a pretty big change, and we didn't really know where we wanted to live. Back then, Airbnb was still legal, so what we did was spend 2 weeks hopping between about 4 or 5 different neighborhoods and different Airbnbs within that neighborhood. That way we really got to live like a local and figure out where we wanted to be. We ended up landing on the Upper West Side, but we also stayed in Hell's Kitchen, the East Village, and the West Village. Once we decided that we were going to move, we booked another Airbnb for 6 weeks, and that was our kind of soft landing plan. Our first 6 weeks we spent in Greenwich Village. Our first year was kind of tough. I was already there living full time and I couldn't leave, and I had to try and get a job. Whereas my partner didn't have his green card yet, however we did find out that he'd won his green card before we moved there. Another weird thing about winning the green card is that my partner and 2 of our friends all independently won. I don't want to say that it was because they knew me, but it was very weird circumstances. So there you have it. That is how you apply for the green card lottery. I'm filming this on November 1, 2023. So from this date, you've got about 6 days to apply. As a reminder, entries close on November 7 at midday Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And thanks for watching my interesting green card application.
The Pacific coast of Oaxaca. Find your escape.